Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back, y'all. Part two.
Yes,
Amanda Marie and
I know. I have a really bad habit of cutting you off. And I'm trying to remember where we left off. I realize that with someone like me with ADHD, it's like super hard because there's so much information. I want to spill it out like all at once. And some of it is related, all of it is related, nothing is related. But if I remember correctly, we left off, we were talking about USAID and how important it is for the world and for America, and how it's basically being shut down illegally, right? I mean,
hmm
just to give you guys a refresher of how that works, I just want to give you a little example. Congress has the power of the purse. So what they're doing is basically say your bank, right? Say that they decide that they're going to put up this like little group of people in the bank that's going to go, that they have determined that they want to help Americans um have better finances and get out of debt. And so this group of people is going to go and audit all the bank accounts of everyone. And they come across yours and they say, man, Amanda's like spending $300 a month on Temu. She's spending like 150 on matching games.
I feel called out.
This is unacceptable. We are going to close her out of her account and seize all the money that is deposited into the account from now until the end.
Wait, can they do that for like my personal account for real? Because that
No,
might be what I spend.
they
No, I'm just
can't. This is an absurd scenario, but this is
okay.
basically an entity within the bank saying, we don't like how she's spending the money. We're just going to freeze, like cut her off from her account. She can no longer access it. And whatever money's coming in and whatever money is in that account is now us. It's now for us to
Okay.
use as we want. That is what Elon Musk is doing. And that is not how it should work. Like if there's this group in this bank, then after they find all these extra expenses that you shouldn't be using, you should be like the Congress. They should submit a report to you and tell you, hey, Amanda, we think this is like excessive spending and this is not a good use of resources. Maybe you should consider, would you consider cutting down or eliminating these like these expenses? And then you can tell the bank, fuck off, leave me alone. Or you can say, you know what, I agree with you, we should cut out those expenses, right? But not close out your bank account entirely and stop giving you access. So that's just an absurd example of what's going on. But then again, what they're doing is absurd and completely illegal as well. Um, and with that, I would like to play a clip because I think there's something very important that you and everyone should know, right? And
Okay.
this,
While you're pulling that clip up, I want to say something completely unrelated.
okay.
And this is actually for our followers, like our loyal followers. Love y'all.
Mhm.
Um, I know his background to me is like a weird like mystery game. Like, for a couple weeks we had a Santa, and occasionally we'll have that cat Melody. But all of a sudden we have a buffalo, and I don't know why, but the entire time you've been speaking, that's all I can stare at is the buffalo that looks like it's flying in your living room.
Yes, I made that by the way, but the reason I switched my desk, to be honest with you, is to get more light from the window. But besides that, is because I have yet to remove my Christmas decorations. And so the Santa's still here. He's just like around the corner. You can't see him. And my Christmas tree is right beside me. This is why.
That's actually great. Oh my gosh, that's so great. I never put mine up. I was too late to the game. My ADHD kept forgetting. So,
This
but I
is
don't
why I
have
don't.
kids.
This
So,
is why I didn't want to put mine up because I'm like, man, I'm gonna put it up and then I'm never gonna take it down. It's gonna be Christmas in July, like at my house. Um, Eventually I'll get to it. Eventually, I'm hoping. But so I have that clip up. Let me
okay.
let me present it to you and everyone else. And while I'm pulling it up, I just want to say that this, you guys, has to do with where America is going, and it's directly going to affect our pocketbooks. And I say ours because it's not really going to affect the 1% that much, or the people that make, say, over like 400, $500,000 a year. It's mainly going to affect, you know, everyone else. So, and now I want you to remember, USAID was put in place by Kennedy during the Cold War to get a leg up on Russia and
Okay.
fight communism. And USAID was able to win the Cold War, or, um, assisted America in winning the hearts of the rest of the world. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and gave America leverage. So this is a clip from Marco Rubio, which is the Secretary of the State. And this is what he's saying. Okay.
For the world to simply have a unipolar power that was not normal. For the world to simply have a unipolar power that was an anomaly. It was the product of the end of the Cold War. But eventually you were going to reach back to a point where you had a multipolar world, multi great powers in different parts of the planet. We face that now with China, and to some extent, Russia. And then you have rogue states like Iran and North Korea you have to deal with. So now more than ever, we need to remember that foreign policy should always be about furthering the national interest of the United States.
And I'm going to cut it right there. And the reason I'm going to cut it right there is because he said what he has to say about that subject. Let me
Okay.
remove this. This is what he's saying with that. Sorry, I moved my screen. After the Cold War, because of USAID and the leverage that it gave over the world and the influence that it put over the world, it did give America, it made America become a superpower. And it became a unipolar world. That's what he means. And what he's saying here is that he doesn't think America should be a superpower, should share its power, should be weaker, and allow for other countries such as Russia, Iran, perhaps, and perhaps Russia, Iran, and perhaps in China, to share that power with America. Now, I don't know about you, but I would not want to give more power to communist China. I would not want to give more power to Russia, which is a dictatorship. I definitely would not want to give more power to Iran. And
Logically.
logically, there is benefit in America being so powerful and having so much influence over so many people. Another thing I would like to mention, and because this is kind of scary, is that, because I think this is where we're going, and we're going to go into things that Elon Musk is doing. But the dollar has always maintained itself very stable,
Right.
right? And that is because it's a reserve currency. What that means is that when throughout the world, when there's trading, like for instance, oil, aluminum, I don't know, wheat, whatever it is,
I thought you said weed.
weed, maybe weed too, I don't know. Wheat, any type of trading, the currency that people use, and not just trading with America, but trading, say, Europe, trading with China, the currency that is used is the dollar. So it always maintains really, it's always really, really stable.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be an alarmist, okay? Because the chances of the dollar falling, I would typically say, are very low. However, moving forward and everything else that we're going to talk about, I want you to keep in mind tariffs and the tariffs that are being imposed on other countries.
But
Um,
just so you know, that's what we didn't talk about in part 1.
yeah, because tariffs are, I mean,
Tariffs are what? Like extra taxes on items brought into the US?
Yeah. So say that I have a product, right? And you buy my product, right?
Mhm.
I'm I'm a different country. I'm in China, you're in America. When I export my product over to you, you pay me and then you pay the government tariffs. It's you. The consumer always foots the bill. Then after you've paid, instead of $10 now $15 because of these extra tariffs, usually what companies do, that extra expense, they don't take it out of the pockets of their CEOs. They move it on to the next consumer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that
So
means everything like all these Temu orders and Sheen orders and all these things that people do are gonna start costing them more.
exactly. Well, not to mention that USPS, I think, and I don't know if it has if it's still in effect, but USPS stopped delivering packages from China and Hong Kong. So
When did that start?
like 2 weeks ago.
Well, that makes a lot more sense because, I haven't gotten my package from Temu yet, and I really wanted it.
Yeah, I should have told you, but I forgot. But anyways, and so that's and retaliatory tariffs are like the opposite, but with the other country. Now, what this does is it fucks everyone over. That's why Canada and Mexico, being our closest trading partners, they had like a no tariff policy. You know what I mean? Because
And
this
we've
affects,
officially canceled that as the US.
well, President Trump put a hold on it. Um, that's a whole kind of like, it was such a stupid tariff war, like, to be honest with you. But then on February 9th, he announced to the world that he's going to impose 25% tariffs on all aluminum and steel coming into the United States. Now, what this does is now, because
Aluminum?
aluminum, yes, is that, yeah,
Okay.
aluminum, and steel then comes into the United States. So I understand a lot of people think, well, America should make their own, do their own stuff and blah blah blah. You have
Americans
to
ain't working.
not just that, Amanda. America does not have the infrastructure right now to produce that way. Not only that, the reason that we import from other countries is because it is cheaper to import than it is to manufacture here. Like, in order to be able to compete, we would have to massively cut wages and benefits for people that work here. It is cheaper to import because a lot of these countries have laws that allow them to make the product at in a cheaper way. And so
Listen,
even if it's made
does
here,
Trump or Musk own a steel or aluminum place in a different country?
well, America does have US steel, but it's not really it's not producing the way that it should. And recently Japan offered to buy it, and Trump doesn't want them to buy it and control US Steel. He just wants them to give US Steel money and become like a part like shareholder. But Japan is like, no, if I'm going to give you money, it's going to be to own US Steel, which then it wouldn't be American anymore anyways.
Right. It would just be
You know,
in America.
it would just be in America for now, because who fucking knows, right?
Right.
It's just stupid. And the thing is, we've seen this time and time and again. Like, for instance, in his first presidency, he imposed 10% tariffs on washing machines coming in from China, right? So now washing machines that came in from China were more expensive. And that did not lower prices in the United States for
No.
washing machines made here. Prices actually went up. Not only did prices of washing machines go up,
Yep. Be with
but
their
prices of
competitor.
yeah, but the prices of dryers, even though they didn't have tariffs on them, also went up. It only created about 83,000 jobs or so in the United States. But the amount that taxpayers, that people, that Americans
Mhm.
paid extra when buying washing machines accounted to each employee getting paid over $800,000, which they did not get paid that amount of money.
Right.
That amount of money went into the companies
Yep, that's a CEO somewhere.
and into the CEOs.
Mhm.
Tariffs only make the rich people richer and the middle class and poor people struggle. That's
Mm.
what tariffs do. That's what tariffs do. That's why most of the world has very low or no tariffs when trading with each other because it doesn't benefit anyone. And the closest example we have, and you guys can look at it if you want to, is Australia. Australia was the last one to remove tariffs, and they ended up removing them because it was, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was impoverishing them. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's what I wanted to mention with oh, I was talking about the dollar. See, ADHD. So the dollar as a reserve currency is used within trading. Now, because of all these tariffs that Trump is imposing, and the US aid being removed, meaning that America has less uh, soft power, less influence over the world, and everybody's angry at America, everybody's laughing at America, despite of what anyone wants to say, everybody's absolutely with everything he's saying regarding Gaza, regarding everything, which is all fucking smoke and mirrors because that shit ain't fucking gonna happen fucking ever. Um, is only making everyone angry and making America the laughing stock once
Right.
again, just like it was the last time. And there's a lot of countries that are unifying, sorry, I said that word weird, and calling to de-dollarize trading. What that means is they're calling to remove the dollar as a reserve currency. And don't think that there's no currencies that can replace it. The euro can replace it. Chinese yuan can replace it. The
Bitcoin.
Japanese that no, Bitcoin wouldn't be used. It can't be used for trading because it's not stable. For one, it's not stable enough, and for two, it can't be used for trading, for paying, and it can't be used for paying debts. But it is something good to have, I guess. I don't know, which is something else I'm getting to. If the dollar falls, right, and that would cause inflation. That would cause massive inflation. That would cause Great Depression type inflation. When something like this happens, right, it's good to diversify your assets. That's the only way you can get around that. One of the ways you can diversify your assets, and I don't know if you're going to be connecting the dots here with me. One of the ways you can diversify your assets is through investing in Bitcoin. It is a safe resource. The only thing is Bitcoin is not monitored federally.
And
That's
it's
why
gonna
it's good.
crash again. It crashed a couple years ago. And when it
Ex-
crashes again, you're gonna need lose hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep, but it's not the thing about Bitcoin. That's why it's great for like criminal organizations. Is because it's not monitored by any government. Nothing. There is no monitoring of it. But one of the ways that you can prepare for inflation and the dollar crashing is investing in Bitcoin. Another thing you can do is invest in stock markets outside of the country that you're from. Like, say, for instance, investing in markets in Europe and China, et cetera, and Japan, et cetera, right?
And you
Those
should
are two
choose
things.
ones with tariffs apparently because then you'll get extra money.
So those are two things that you can do. And this is why I'm telling you that I think I hope not. I hope not, but I think
Say
I
it.
don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but I think they may be attempting to have the dollar crash. And the only reason I say that is because a bill has been submitted to sell part of the gold in the reserve and buy Bitcoin. That's number
No.
one. And the second thing is Trump has created a sovereign wealth fund. Now, what that is basically like a piggy bank. It's a piggy bank where a country puts money and then that money gets invested in the stock market, right? This makes sense for countries that have a surplus of money at the end of the year. Like, for
Yeah,
instance,
but where our
Norway.
national debt is outrageous.
Yeah. So, what money is going to go into the sovereign wealth fund? Because there is no money at the end of the year to put in the piggy bank. The piggy bank is absolutely fucking empty, right?
Right.
I think yesterday or the day before, they propositioned using the gold in the reserve as an asset, like levying it to get billions of dollars to put into the sovereign wealth fund. Because gold is an asset, and it's kind of like you getting a second mortgage on a house. You know what I
Right.
mean? You have this asset and you're saying, I need more money, let me remortgage my home. You know what I mean? Or I you want to buy a house and you need something backing you up. You put up like land or cars or boats or whatever it is that you have as collateral, basically. So that's
Right.
what they're trying to do with the gold in the reserve in order to fund the sovereign wealth fund. Now, this is not money that we're going to be able to determine where it gets, you know, like what stocks get it's like, so you can't fucking control it. Uh, we can't control it. We the people, we're not going to be able where the money goes, right? We're not going to
Right.
be able to, and it's perfect for like crooks. Like in Malaysia, they had a sovereign wealth fund, and he was embezzling millions of dollars. He went to
Right.
jail. The president of Malaysia or whatever he is.
Well, I mean, think about it. If you have that kind of fund and it's just sitting out there and you're the one holding the piggy bank, why not
Mhm.
dabble in it here and there? If I had a piggy bank that held millions of dollars, I might take a couple dollars here and there too. Just saying, just putting it out there. Don't put all your millions of dollars in my piggy banks, guys.
Yeah. There's also that super fishy to me is that Trump has disbanded the organization that controls bribery and trading. He doesn't want there to be an agency that investigates, which was the agency that actually got the president, all the evidence on the president of Malaysia.
Okay.
Um, he, I don't understand why that's beneficial to us at all. But anyways, moving on. Also, there's like a video. There's, like I said, there's so much stuff. An FBI agent, a whistleblower, warned Americans, and I think I don't remember when it was, but I think it was 4 months. It was after President Trump got elected.
Okay.
Well, after, not when he got office, but when he got elected, warning Americans to stockpile on at least 4 months worth of supplies.
Why?
Because if the dollar crashes and everything goes to shit, everything is going to be super expensive. Because it's
I
going to
don't
cause
have anywhere to
inflation.
store 4 months worth of supplies.
Neither do I, nor do I have the money to buy 4 months worth of
No, me
supplies, to be
either. I
honest
mean,
with
I
you.
can't over 4 months.
No, because the way inflation is good for the people that are rich because it makes their debts look so much smaller. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
but because they
Yeah, but
already
it's
have
getting to a
money.
point now where like I don't drink milk or eat eggs because it's become too expensive to purchase those items on a regular shopping trip. Like it's almost like how like as a parent, and this is just an assumption, but as a parent when you go to the store, you tell yourself, "No, I'm not going to buy that cake. That's for special occasions. I'm not going to spend the 30 bucks on that cake for the kids. I'll get
Mhm.
it when there's a special occasion." That's how I feel about milk and eggs now.
Yeah.
No, I'll
Yeah.
buy it if there's a special occasion, but I don't. Mm-mm. I have some water and some bread.
I've seen some memes of like say like I saw a meme that said, this is how people that own chickens are looking right now, and they were like, she was like wearing fur and a Gucci bag. Sorry,
That's
but
funny. So it tells me, how positive your memes are because my memes are things like 2 eggs inside of a drug bag saying things like, "I got you, just call me."
oh man, no, but inflation because
However, I just wanna point out that the crazy, crazy chicken lady in everybody's local neighborhood is now the best person to know. But go ahead.
and to all the people that are saying, because I know there's a lot of people saying, well, no, Elon Musk is, going into, you taking out corruption and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm not saying there's not like spending in the government that shouldn't, that could be cut down. That's not what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. Absolutely there is.
Yeah, I
But
don't
that's,
think presidents should have to take limos everywhere anymore.
but that's not what he's doing. Because if that's what he wanted to do, the first place he would look for unnecessary spending is on defense spending, because that's where the majority of the budget goes. He wouldn't be looking at the less than 1% of US aid. He wouldn't be looking at cutting the Department of Education. He's going on after agencies that have investigated him or are investigating him. Just like he got the director of the FAA fired because the director of the FAA dared he dared to fine him for his rockets exploding and putting the lives of the people on the ground and the lives of the plane, like the lives of the people flying in commercial aircraft, in danger because he wasn't following safety protocol. And
Right.
so Elon Musk called for him to be fired. He said it on X. And on the first day, on inauguration day,
It
the
happened.
director of the FAA was forced to resign. A few days later, they also fired half of the people at the FAA. They I don't know what else they did, but they did something else. And then a few days later, there's a plane crash. And what do? They blame DEI, not themselves. So, but he's going after people. It's like there's such a conflict of interest,
Yeah,
and
he's made America his project enemy, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Musk not even from here?
no, he's not. He's Canadian. He has Canadian citizenship. He has South African. He's South African, really. He is a US citizen. I don't know how he obtained his citizenship. Do you have some information on that? Because I think you just
Yeah,
pulled it
so
up, right?
Elon Musk came over on a student citizenship and back in 1995, but then he quit being a student and he started working. So technically he was here in the country illegally um till I don't even remember what. I'm trying to see if it'll tell me what year. But he was in the country illegally for at least 5 years and still to this day denies that he was ever here illegally, even though all the proof is there. He came over on a J1 student visa. He did get his undergraduate degree, but right after he got his undergraduate degree, he was supposed to go back because that's what a student visa is for. And he didn't. He stayed and he started working. And instead of getting his US citizenship first, he got his Canadian citizenship first. Because that makes sense when you're living in the US. And then for some reason, it only took him. Oh, I see what happened. So he launched Zip2 Investors. And
Okay.
when he launched that, he was able to get himself a US visa under his own company.
Okay. So money. That's how he became a US citizen. But moving on to the things that he's doing that do not benefit Americans. And I honestly don't get how people are thinking that this is at all beneficial to us.
Okay.
He's cut, he's demolished, destroyed, eliminated. He on his he tweeted CFPB RIP. The CFPB is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The sole purpose of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is to make sure that consumers, that's us, do not get scammed by banks. They limit bank fees. They make sure mortgage lenders do not abuse us or like raise rates and take money from us. They make sure that corporations do not put like small print on things that then they're able to like steal money from
They
us.
also make sure that people don't price gouge in the middle of storms.
Exactly. That's what the CFPB does. And he has basically it's no longer. Well, they're still fighting, I think, for it, to be honest with you, but right now it's not operating. That's what I'm trying to say.
Who is
It is
operating at this point? The White House? That's it?
yeah, and the Pentagon. Let's not look there for millions and billions of dollars of stupid fucking contracts. Like for instance, he got a contract for bulletproof cyber trucks. Those fucking stupid trucks that he
They're
fucking
so
makes.
expensive, though.
They are so expensive. Millions of dollars. Who the fuck needs a bulletproof cyber truck? Who the fuck is gonna use that?
Yeah, and it sucks because they're not even gonna drive in that. They're gonna still take limos everywhere they go.
Yeah, why does the government need cyber trucks? And why how is this not a conflict of interest?
Yep.
Like it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So no, we're not going to cut money from shit like that we don't fucking need. We're going to cut it from the CFPB, which has returned 20 over almost $20 billion of $20 billion to the American people since its inception. Because I think it was started in I don't remember when it was started, but it was like in the 2000s. That's when the CFPB was created. The reason that he's getting rid of it is quite simple. He wants to turn X into a payment system. The CFPB would be the one regulating that payment system. If they no longer exist, then they can't regulate it, which means that they can't tell him what he can charge or what he can do with it. He wants to turn X into like a version of like Venmo. So for all of y'all, whenever he launches that shit, don't bite into it. Don't bite into it because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, because then you're giving him access to your bank accounts and stuff like that, and there's nobody to
Mm-hmm.
regulate if he's gonna take money away from you.
Yeah. He's also he's doing so much shady shit. And he's
This really
also
bothers me because I really wanted to buy an Elon Musk house off of Amazon, and now I don't want one of his houses. Can someone build me a $10,000 tiny home? Thanks.
he's also gotten rid of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
Well, that sucks for people like you and me with ADHD.
You know why he's getting rid of them? Because they're suing Tesla on allegations of widespread racial harassment. If that
Wow.
agency no longer exists, then they can't investigate. He's also gotten rid of the
That's-
NLRB.
The equal opportunity thing is the way that all of us get jobs, y'all. Like although my disabilities aren't seen, I have a disability, but on top of that, I'm ADHD, and ADHD is considered a disability. So that means that I could no longer disclose that I have a disability to my employers. I would have to lie to them because if they saw that it said ADHD, and even though I'm 100% qualified for anything I'd ever apply for, because I wouldn't apply if I wasn't qualified, I wouldn't get the job because they wouldn't have to give it to me because they'd be like, oh, well, she's occasionally going to space out.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's why things like this are a big deal. This is a big deal because your mother in the wheelchair that applied for the job that she's qualified for, they don't have to hire her if they find someone that has, the ability to walk up the stairs to get into work.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out how cutting any of these agencies is benefiting us in any way. Because again, none of these agencies make the bulk of federal spending. Like none of them. So
I
the
wish we
other
had a list of agencies we could cut.
Dodge, you know what
Starlink?
I Starlink. Um, moving on, he's also President Trump. Um, at the request of Elon Musk, has basically crippled the NLRB, which is the National Labor Relations Board. They need 3 people in order to make decisions, and Trump has illegally fired because he cannot fire just anyone just because. It has to go through Congress. And they have to give a 30 fucking day notice. He has fired the first African American woman to sit on that board.
Of course he has. That was part of the reason of getting rid of the diversion and inclusivity.
Yep. And now he has crippled that the NLRB. He has crippled it because they need at least 3 people to make a decision, and they only now have 2.
Oh, I wanna be on
So,
that board. How do I apply?
I don't know. Send your resume to the White House. I mean, they're hiring a bunch of unqualified
I
motherfuckers.
need to
So,
remove my ADHD and my diagnosis from it, but then I'll send it up because I don't want them to know that I'm at all disabled.
okay, you go ahead. Yeah, make sure you
And
hide.
I'm gonna take the "duh" off my name too, so
Yeah, just
they'll
Aman.
just be hiring Aman.
But the NLRB coincidentally, I mean, and the NLRB is important. So this is like, for instance, if you want to create a union in your job and everybody votes to have unionize, that vote goes to up to the NLRB and they have to ratify it, right? They have to basically make it official. This
Okay.
has made it so that Americans cannot create unions. And this has made it so that unions cannot send anything up to the NLRB for a decision. It has crippled unions. There's no it has crippled the American people from being able to collectively fight for their employment rights.
Mhm,
And the
and how many
NLR
unions did Tesla have?
hmm, well, here's the
Not
thing.
any now.
The NLRB was investigating Elon Musk 24 of his companies. They were investigating 24 investigations into his company, sorry. But now, guess what they can't do? They
They
can't
can't
continue.
investigate, they only got 2 people, and they need somebody for
Mhm.
the 3rd shift.
Yep. The FEC commissioner has also been fired. They were investigating Musk on policy on campaign finance violations because he created this lottery to give people $1 million to encourage them to vote. He was out there with big, huge checks, and if you don't believe me,
How
you can
how
fucking.
come how come he ain't never offered me $1 million to
You
vote?
know, I was actually thinking the same thing. I was like, man, I should have just pretended to be a maggot for a day, and just gone on the
Oh, I don't even
lottery.
care about that. Like, I just wanna say, like, Mountain City, Georgia is where the people need $1 million at.
Well, I wouldn't give it. I would keep it for me. You know. I don't, and anyways,
I would keep it for
um,
me too, but I need to know why Elon Musk didn't come here. We got a high population this week.
um, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he's. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do know what's going on. They're basically turning this into to changing it from a democracy. They're shitting all over the Constitution. Um, Trump also fired the the Office of Government Ethics chief, and the government of ethic the chief of the Office of Government Ethics was investigating Elon Musk and the conflicts of interest with Dodge. But guess what? He can't do anymore.
Is Dodge Doge, Doji, Doggy, whatever it is?
Doggy, Dosh,
Okay.
Dosh, Dosh bags. I don't know. Call it what you want. But I don't know if this is if this is like, if you guys are getting the clear picture, then none of the things that he's doing, including one of the most recent things, which is wanting to eliminate the Department of Education, which is going to severely cripple and affect like the red states, mainly because they are the poorest states. Like blue states typically have, they have more money. This is not to put down any red states, but if you take away certain cities where the property values are high, right? Like
Right.
say for instance Atlanta and Georgia, property values in Atlanta are high, and property values are what funds the schools, then those schools may be okay, but it's going to severely affect the rural
Are you barking?
Dodge rural rural
Ruh-roh.
rural. It's a weird word. Rural areas in America. It's going to severely cripple the schools. It's going to remove. That means the elimination of programs that help kids with disabilities. That means the elimination of clubs. That means the elimination of projects that they may have with to add infrastructure to the school for like better gyms or better cafeteria, or just it's going to eliminate teachers. So now there's going to be more, because if the schools don't have the funding, they don't have the money, then they're going to have to cut the staff. That means more kids per classroom. That means less education. And that's exactly what they want. They're doing everything they can to cripple Americans and legal residents here. And I still, and I think it's so funny because if you ask MAGA and Make America Great Again, a Trump supporter, can you tell me a year? What year are you exactly referring to when you say Make America Great Again? Where are we going back to? The 50s? I mean, sure, they were great if you were white and a male,
Right.
but African Americans had no rights. I mean, very little rights. What are we going back to, where there were no like labor laws and we had children working in factories? Or are we going back to the late 1800s where it was full of monopolies and the people were fucking starving? They didn't have any fucking money, and all the money was controlled by JP Morgan and Rockefeller and Carnegie. Like, where is it exactly that America was great?
So it's moments that you say certain things that makes me realize how lost I am in a lot of things. Um, like the thing that you just said about Rockefeller,
Hmm.
and Rockefeller to me is a music industry. Like um so when you say days of that, my brain thinks early 90s. You know what I mean? But I know logically you're speaking from a different perspective, like a further ago perspective. Um, my sister had said a long time ago that if Trump became president again, and she wasn't talking trash, she was just saying in general that her prediction was if Trump became president again, then Handmaid's Tale would become true. And it's really scary because I feel like that's a lot of what I'm starting to see. And for people like me, who I am, in a corporate position, and I do, enjoy working. It's actually it's my favorite thing to do. And you can ask anyone that knows me. It's when I'm sad, I work. When I'm frustrated, I work more. When I'm mad at people, I work more. I might be a workaholic, and to me that's okay. It's the work ethic I have. It's who I am as a person. I don't care what people say. That's just what I like to do. But anyways, if that was something taken away from me, I mean, I would find a way to survive because I'm a survivor. I'd probably just leave the country, but I would find a way to survive, because that's who I am as a person. However, I feel like mental health wise, it would completely tear me down. It
Yeah.
would break me as a person if all of that was just ripped from under me, especially out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm just
And
like everybody else in middle America. I may not live completely paycheck to paycheck, but my savings account ain't balling or nothing. I got to rip in that savings account anytime I have an emergency.
yeah.
So,
No, it's really sad. It's like America, and it's really like it almost makes me want to cry because I love this country. Like I talk shit about it all the time, especially to you because I realize that like the quality of life here, especially with everything becoming so expensive, um, but I love this country, and I've even though I wasn't born here, I came here when I was 13 years old.
you
My
were raised
stepdad,
here.
yeah, my stepdad was American. I met him when I was 6 years old, and so I've always been around American culture, um and to me he was my dad. My brother was in the army, and when I was little I would go to the army bases in Germany where he was stationed and stuff like that and
That's
be
really
around the
cool.
military. So it's like it created a sense of patriotism in me. And I love my country. I love Spain. But I have mutual love for both countries, and to see to read comments when you're online and to read such an uneducated comments from from ignorant people that are thinking that the division is what's best for this country, like dividing races and dividing sexes and dividing uh, so much fucking hatred that it is fucking
Well,
sad.
and what's crazy to me is a lot of supporters that I see will be white women with black men. Well, y'all, if we divide the races, I don't know if y'all know this, but like they're a different race.
Yeah. No, it's like truly. And the thing is, okay, this is that and dawns on me that America has always been there's always been a race issue here from
Hmm.
its inception, from its conception, from the colonies. Race has always been a big issue
And it
here.
wasn't only race, it was ethnicity too.
Yeah, it was race, it was ethnicity, anything that wasn't white, honestly. And there have been a lot of closeted racist. And the danger of this president and his my heart goes out to you fucking oligarch is that they are empowering the KKK, they are empowering the neo-Nazi groups. And if you march with your MAGA hats surrounded by people with Nazi flags and with Confederate flags and with "Don't tread of me" flags, and you think that you are being a patriot, you are a fucking hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. It's like you're fucking taking a shit on every single fucking man and woman that died in World War II
What
trying to
happened to
fight
land of the
fascism.
free? Like, what happened to a world where I can be who I want to be and not feel like I can be put to death by my government because I choose to be that person? Because
Mhm,
that's the America I grew up in. The America I grew up in wasn't super sensitive. We didn't have a lot of, let me say this. We knew that gay people were in America, but we we didn't call them out. We didn't put them into a group. We just accepted them as individual people, like whatever, you're gay, I don't care.
mhm,
And then LGBTQ plus came along, and that's okay. They wanted to set that individualization for their group of people. But when I was growing up, we didn't treat Betty down the street any different because she married Susan and they had two kids. We didn't care because
yeah,
Betty and Susan had the best lemonade on the block. So that's what we cared about. And in the America that I grew up in, my neighbors were black, and the people that lived down the street from me were Spanish. and there was an Asian family around the corner. And I played with all of those children in my mom's backyard in the summertime. You know what I mean? And it's just so weird to me that we have gotten to a point as a country where we went, and I'm not gonna talk trash about anybody's decisions with their children. Okay. It's not my place. I don't have kids. But I remember 5 years ago, and this was just a personal opinion. If this offends anyone, I apologize. I'm not talking trash. Again, I don't have children. But I remember 5 years ago being upset because I read in an article that there were schools in Pennsylvania with litter boxes because they allowed children to identify as furries. And I was a little upset that they would allow other children to go around pneumonia that comes from allowing someone to use the restroom in a litter box, for the other children. I was very upset that that's where we had gotten to as a country, so far left that it was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? What are we teaching people? But again, I don't care what you want to do with your life. It ain't my business, you know, but it is my business when it starts to affect other things. And when, there was also articles from that same school saying that a bunch of the children kept getting sick and having these viral bacterial infections and things. It's because they were inhaling ammonia when they were going to the bathroom with litter boxes right outside their stalls. And that's the reality of it. So then, I was like, okay, America's going too far. We're doing this. We were canceling everybody. We were taking books off the shelf. And when that was happening, the whole world was saying America's gone too far. Why would you ever cancel a book? Why would you ban a book? Y'all, we just did it again. Now we're going too far in the opposite direction.
Yeah. And the
You
thing
know,
is,
I don't get it. I don't. And it makes me angry because I'm not even a political person. And this makes no sense to me. I don't give a shit. Freedom of speech was one of the things that I stayed in America for. And if that's gone, why am I here? And that's all books are, is freedom of speech. I can take any of those books and read it out loud and they couldn't say nothing because it's speech. But because it's written, all of a sudden it's illegal. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm done with my rant. I was just kind of mad.
no, I completely get it. I'm pissed off too, and it's because what doesn't make any sense is that these conservatives, the idea of conservatism is like, um basically having the government not fucking be in your lives. That's what conservatives,
Right.
Reagan, everybody was about, is not having the government meddle with your fucking
Yeah,
lives.
leave me
That's
alone. Let me live.
exactly what their government what that's exactly what Trump and his government is fucking doing. It's like the antithesis of conservatism. And I don't fucking understand how people think that the government having more power over your body, over your reproductive rights, over your children, over the books that you read, over the clubs that you can take, over the jobs that you can have. I don't fucking understand how giving the federal government more fucking power is conservative. It isn't. It's fucking a dictatorship. It's imperialism. That's what the fuck he's doing. He wants to conquer Greenland and name it the red, white, and blue land. He wants to develop the Strait of Gaza. We're going to make it great. It's going to be great for the people. The people. Yeah, the world's people are gonna live there. And there's the
Listen, your voice for him is a mix between him and like Scarface.
listen, we're gonna have to be leaving here in a minute, but I just want y'all to watch. I just want to tell y'all something. Go watch the interview that they did of Elon Musk in the Oval Office. Pay attention to the little kid.
Okay. Pay attention to the little kid.
Yeah, because he says,
Go ahead.
he tells the little kid tells Trump, "You're not the president. I want you to leave." It's a hot mic moment. And he also tells him, "I want you to shut the fuck up." Now, these are not things that a kid says on his own. These are things that he's heard other adults say. And
Yeah,
I
because
think it's
Elon Musk is really the president.
and I think it's so dirty for Elon Musk to have his child there, like, like seriously to try to create some sort of sympathy. They even compared it to the picture of John F. Kennedy with his child under the Resolute desk, which there is no fucking comparison. But not only that, you just go look at it. Go look at that interview.
Y'all, hit the bottom for comments. Let us know what you're thinking, what's going on in your mind. Like and subscribe. We'll see y'all next week.